Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies. And today, it's a happy day because today is the 15th anniversary of the release of what is not only my favorite Disney movie, but one of my favorite movies, period. Like, it is in the top 10. I'm talking about Tangled, the 2010 retelling of the Rapunzel fairy tale, that is that really is a modern classic. It is just so lively, so spunky, so fun, and just really just has that Disney magic that we not only grow up with and like just remember so fondly. This movie like really has it. This is like it's the one that I've always gravitated towards the most. And it's really interesting, just kind of when this movie came out, because this was made at the time when the company was kind of in a bit of a flux state. You know, it was trying to kind of pull itself out of something of a flop era, but that it found itself in like the late aughts. You know, they had movies like Bolt, like The Princess and the Frog, which were modest successes, but they weren't. None of them really were doing like big numbers that the competition was doing. But like, you know, Pixar is still Pixar was still riding pretty high. Of course, the DreamWorks was doing great. Like, you could say they were like trying to find a way to like crack a new Disney formula in like a post-Shrek society. And I think they really nailed it with Tangled, because this movie is, I would say, is of the millennial generation of like the Disney movies of the 2010s. This is to that era what The Little Mermaid was, the Disney Renaissance of the 90s. You know, have a big massive hit, like just Disney princess, establishes a mode, establishes a sort of expectations, and is just absolutely so earnest and loving, but like updated for like more modern sensibilities in a sense, but like not to such a degree. And it finds this like health. It finds a really healthy balance, and I think this was also like a very interesting turning point, because especially after the Princess and the Frog, despite its strengths and its own beauty as like of 2D animation, this one was like this was like the first CG animated fairy tale, not the first like CG animated movie period, but this is the one where they were like, okay, now we're like bringing in the painter, the sort of like 2D animated aesthetics into the 3D animated technology, and it kind of was sort of helped put, which on the one hand did basically kind of put the nail in the coffin for like Disney retiring the 2D animation department, which I like really hurts just even saying that, but like it's hard not to see why they made a shift like that, given the massive successes of like other computer animated technology, and it was being seen, and like a 2D animation at the time. This was like came out in like 2010. It was seen as something as sort of old-fashioned and just sort of like a passing model. Now it seems more retro and much more welcome with the success of like Cartoon Saloon and stuff like that. But here it's here, they really felt like they were getting back to basics. They brought in like Alan Menken to do the songs, and with lyrics from Glenn Slater, and yeah, it really felt like, and really is kind of just doing the new, just like, you know, something old but new, you know. And I think this movie does something really, it is like pretty clever about the way it goes about it. Like the opening prologue, which is does so well to like establish the backstory of like, and but also giving enough clever twist in like the plot mechanics to like, you know, to like finagle the original Grimm's fairy tale into, you know, a Disney princess. So like so here in the Kingdom of Corona, you have a magic drop of sunlight that creates a golden flower that is able to heal all ailments. It's just and it's being hoarded by this centuries-old witch for like centuries. then the queen of Corona, she's like in labor and it's about to give birth, and she's like sick and about to die, and so they get the flower, and a cute little baby Rapunzel's born. He's an absolute cute by total ball of sunlight. Well, the witch Gothel tries to like take a piece of hair for herself, but she can't, because cutting off a strand of hair just cuts off the magic. So she has to kidnap the baby, and she hides off in a tower deep in the woods, and raises her for like 18 years. And it's such a wonderful, it's such a real, every beat this prologue took was just like, that's so like that's clever. That makes it makes sense. It's tight, and it also gives this wonderful little thing to look forward. This also feeds into things to look forward to, where every year on Rapunzel's birthday, the king and queen release thousands of lanterns in the sky, and that's her, and like that is her dream. She wants to see the floating lights in the star that happens every year on her birthday, and from there it's just this really sweet and wonderful, like a Disney fairy tale. It's just kind of like even just saying that Disney fairy tale, it feels almost like really taken for granted nowadays, but like this one, like it just finds that sweet, wonderful balance of being self-aware enough of what we expect out of that, but like not so embarrassed that it's like not so much that it's embarrassed to be a fairy tale, or like none of its plot really or it's not like with Frozen, where like so much of the story dialogue is being about like, hey, I'm being subversive here kind of thing. And it's really it's really like done with our two leads. And first is Rapunzel herself, who is just an absolute just delight every time she's on screen. She is she's spunky, she's cute, she's bright and bubbly. She's a real go-getter. She's just infectiously likable, and she's voiced by Mandy Moore. She's not maybe not like a huge actress, but she's well known. She's well liked. She was I mostly knew her at the time as one of JD's girlfriends from Scrubs, or also Mandy Moore, but she's not Mandy Moore from Clone High, also she was a pop star. She has some pop music, and like Rapunzel's first song, "When Will My Life Begin," is this really fun and bouncy pop guitar ballad about all the hobbies that she has to fill her day with. Painting is her speciality, of course. And man, like Mandy, just does such great work with having this wonderful of just capturing that trepidation, that curiosity, and just overflowing excitement Rapunzel has when she gets to touch grass for the first time. She's, Rapunzel's now 18. She has 70 feet of blonde hair. I'll get to the hair in a second. And she's raised by Mother Gothel, who is voiced by Broadway veteran Donna Murphy, who is just absolutely making 5-course meals out of this role that is pretty much the last capital DV Disney villain. Gothel is not some manifestation of personal anxieties or generational trauma. There's hardly a moment of sympathy for her. She is just a vain, self-obsessed bitch who loves a condescending put-down about as much as she loves her own reflection. She is the modern mistress of gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. I also love how she has I also love the visual callbacks to past Disney villains that they surround her with. There's a spinning wheel in the tower, and science. There's some apples surrounding her at one point. There's even she even has a lantern that glows this very villainous green glow. It's just like codified evil on top of codified evil, and she absolutely just relishes every moment, especially in her villain song, "Mother Knows Best," total bop. Which is just like if emotional gaslighting was a song. No, Rapunzel, you can't go outside. There's ruffians and thugs and men with pointy teeth, cannibals and snakes. Skip the drama. Stay with Mama. Just absolute, just villainous diva. Love her to bits. Pretty soon after that we get the other protagonist of this movie, Flynn Rider, aka Eugene Fitzherbert, voiced by Zachary Levi. And at the time, Levi was still known as like the lead for the show Chuck, which is still kind of a comfort watch for me. And since then, he did some games, he did some TV, but he was in Shazam. He was Shazam, and last year had himself a slow motion year-long career crash out when coupled with some pretty hilariously bad choice of roles, outed himself as a weirdo Christian anti-vax MAGA freak, and generally just kind of a huge asshole, which is a real shame because he is very charming here. I find him he's like the way that like Levi has like it's a role where he's like clearly playing up the like this sort of like a dashing rogue persona and like clearly having fun with it. Like, yeah, like a guy, Flynn Rider, the character, is a guy who is hot shit and knows he's hot shit and relishes in the fact that he's hot shit. And you can't deny, in all observable sciences, he is objectively really fucking pretty. Courtesy of what became known as the Hot Man meeting, which is basically the directors that like pulled all the like female storyboard artists and illustrators and character designers together, and they're just like, okay, what character traits do you like more? What hair type do you like? What does his nose look like? Eye color? How high should his cheekbones be? They had like references of celebrities like Johnny Depp and Brad Pitt and Gene Kelly, and if you think he looks like an amalgamation of the prettiest man alive, yeah, that's probably why. Ladies, your work and taste is acknowledged here. And so Ryder steals the crown. Ryder steals the crown of the lost princess. And he gets chased into the woods and he stumbles upon the tower, and he gets bonked on the head by Rapunzel and her frying pan, her weapon of choice throughout the movie. And this movie's also like really funny, especially here, like this scene of like Rapunzel struggling, I should say, to hide his body in the closet, always kills. And it's really this moment here where she has him tied to a chair and pulled under this light, where you really see all the details of this 70 feet of flowing golden hair here, and you really see the effort of everything on this. Tangled spent something like 6 years in production, and the hair eventually became a big reason why. It's interesting how things worked out, because for a decent chunk of it, it was going to be directed. The production was at least led by Disney legendary illustrator and character animator Glenn Keane. His work is pretty much all over your favorite Disney movies. And his work as a character designer in the Disney Renaissance between like Little Mermaid and Tarzan is like second to none. He's a big reason why some of your favorite Disney characters are from that era. And a lot of credit is owed to him for marrying the warmth of traditional hand-drawn animation with computer animation, but eventually through some like reasons, one way or the other, through like health reasons, I think, the hands got shifted over to the directors Nathan Greno and Byron Howard. who do marvelous work here. They coordinate. They did the Hot Man meeting, and Howard of the two is the more experienced director. He's definitely worked with Disney before and since. Like he directed Bolt, but also achieved much as bigger, if not more, success with directing both Zootopia movies. So good on him. And when you see the hair in this movie, you really need to understand that hair was really complicated. Like the kind of like new computer tech basically had to be invented to make the hair work, because it kept giving them so much trouble, which and it wound up really like spiking the budget up. And if the facts still are true, the budget of this movie was something like over 200 million, like $260 million, which would clock it still as one of the most expensive movies ever made. Definitely I think still the most expensive animated movie ever made. And thank God this was a hit, right? But yeah, and so in this scene they strike up a deal where Ryder takes Rapunzel to see the floating lights, and she gets her crown. And well, shenanigans, adventure, fun, songs, and romance, of course, ensues. It's all this wonderful, like, Disney 3-day romance. It's there's so much like good in it. Like even the scene right like immediately after where Rapunzel first comes down and leaves the tower is just so fun, because she's like overflowing with like just joy and it's excitement, but also guilt, just like zigzag, just like seesawing back and forth between just utter joy and utter despair is hysterical. And you also have, there's also get like really great bits of like comedic relief. And it leads me into something that I really love this movie for. One of them is this movie's choice of like really letting silence speak for the moment. You have these chiefly you have these two animal sidekick characters. You have Rapunzel's pet chameleon, Pascal. It's her best friend, and you have the horse of the captain of the guard, Maximus. And these two, thank God, these two do not, like, if these two had like funny celebrity voices or anything like that, it would have seriously dragged them down. The character expressions, the physical animation is just so, it just speaks for itself. They just have so much character to how they act, and like so much great physical comedy out of how they behave too. Like just any time that Maximus is like just acts like shifts from like acting like a dog to like acting like a better cop than even the guards. It's hilarious. They're wonderful characters, no doubt. Like totally see why that like wedding short they had focused solely on them, because like they really know how to make physical comedy work with these two. They're totally wonderful. You also get like great beats where you also like really wonderful moments of just, yeah, again, this movie is really funny when it wants to be. It's also really like patient when it wants to be. For a movie that's like 100 minutes long, it's paced exceedingly well. It never feels like there's too much time lost, but also never. You also want to just be there more, because of like when it chooses to let a moment sit. When Rapunzel and Eugene are sitting by a campfire, and they're kind of explaining. They're sort of explaining themselves. She sings. She sings the healing incantation, makes her hair glow, and explain. And she like explains how her sort of mixed feelings about being outside, because she doesn't want to disappoint her mother, but she also really wants to achieve her dream. And Eugene explains himself about like why choose to be the Flynn Rider? Why put on this facade? Well, it's because Eugene was an orphan kid with nothing, and he felt like being somebody else was just better than being himself. And but like even after that, one of the best moments, really like when after that scene, when we get to when they finally make it to the kingdom, and they're in this festival, and from that moment on, it's just like I'm just feeling absolute utter joy. Just every beat that it is hitting it so perfectly, and it's infectious. I'm always smiling watching this movie, and which then leads to this utterly just perfect moment before the big scene that it was building to, where you have this moment where it cuts to this moment, between the king and queen, and not a word of dialogue is spoken, but you feel so much of their anguish, their sadness, their just clinging on to like any last bit of hope that they have that their daughter might be out there, and you just read all of that in the expressions on their face. Not a word is spoken. They don't have lines in the movie, and the movie is frankly better for it. It's so beautiful, and then they release the lantern. They have this like just absolutely heavenly glow where like all the lanterns unfurl in this big wide shot where it's like floating down the road of the kingdom, almost like not very similar to how Rapunzel's hair glows, and it's, oh my god, and then we get the big lantern scene. It's I see the light. Just this moment here is it's the premier love song of the movie. The lighting in this sequence, even to this day, is stunning to look at. And I love this. Like, I love the little moment where like Rapunzel and Eugene are on the boat, and she sees the first lantern. She immediately sprints to the front, and just like is like staring up in awe. And this beautiful camera where like pushes in on her, and then it like pans around, and we see thousands upon it's like something like 45,000 lanterns in this sequence. It's just, oh my god, I'm falling in love just thinking about it. It's this scene of just like this absolutely breathtaking, heavenly glow. It's so soft and soothing and romantic, and of course Eugene, Rapunzel, they lit their own lanterns up and they dance. I love the moment where like she sees the king and queen's lantern because it has the royal insignia. A lot of great sun imagery in this movie, and she like gently pushes it back up. Then they sing together. Oh my god, I can't. Oh god, I am swooning. And from there on, there's oh my god, I'm still writing, like, even just thinking about that, listening to that song, still riding that high. It's the most romantic scene of any Disney movie, I think. This sequence is just overwhelmingly, just overwhelmed. It really is overwhelming. I love this scene, and it really carries on through the end, where you really see that you see almost both immediately and then eventually you see immediately the way that Eugene is like almost like immediately he's like smitten with her immediately. Like she steps into the light, or like she steps into that light. It's like, who are you? And he's immediately smitten. Immediately tries to put the moves on her. Tries to use a smaller on her. Doesn't work. Total fuckboy. Love him to death. But man, like when he makes this, at the end when he's like dying and he makes the selfless decision to cut her hair, which by the way, hate that we have discourse about that bullshit, like every 6 months or so. But when he cuts her hair and he's dying, and like romance was invented in 2010 when Eugene Fitzherbert used his dying breath to say that Rapunzel was his new dream, and then was reinvented again when he came back to life, and the first thing out of that man's mouth was that she is still pretty even with her brunette hair. God damn it, I love these two. God, it just puts a smile. It just puts a smile on my face. And when they reunite with their parents, they again just the character animation is so beautiful. It's breathtaking, and oh my god, just again, this no words were needed, and because like you see the trepidation, you see the hesitation, the hope in their eyes, and the relief and the love immediate. This movie just has an absolute stranglehold on my heart. Holy shit, I forgot. How can I forget to mention the pub thugs? I totally forgot to mention the pub thugs. Like, that's the scene where you get the meme of Eugene surrounded by the swords for all of his hot takes. Oh man, but those guys are a lot of fun. The song's great. My God, I could gush. I honestly could gush about this movie forever, all the time, and I just love the cute little little button on the end where it's like, did Rapunzel and I, like, after years, like, I know what you're asking, did Rapunzel and I ever get married? But after years of asking, I finally said yes. You know, it's stuff like that like, yeah, definitely does have a bit of a, you know, feels like he's doing it, like they're doing a bit of that, you know, sort of DreamWorks slyness, like, I'm so witty, and you know, I'm so witty, sort of a self-assured kind of stuff, but like it does well. Like I said, this has this healthy marriage, like between with it, because of like Rapunzel. It has this wonderful balance because of Rapunzel's like optimism and naivete mixed with Eugene's more world-weary cynicism. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I think they really do it. I think they're just an absolutely amazing couple, amazing duo. I love them. I love this movie. I could gush on this movie for hours, just saying, oh man, I love it so much. And since then, the movie's really kind of found its audience, even in the way. Even in the wake of like the avalanche hit that Frozen was, it got like a pretty passionate fandom. I remember like there was like that crossover fandom, Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons, which was like Tangled, Brave, Jack Frost from Legends of the Guardians, and Brave and How to Train a Dragon. It was, you know, cute little thing on Tumblr. Just fan arts being fan arts. Also, it eventually got a level in Kingdom Hearts 3, which is pretty good. And also, it got a series on the Disney Channel, which Tangled the series, or Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. They changed the title like in season 2. I don't know why. It was really weird. Not a perfect show by any means, but I certainly love it. I certainly had a lot of fun with it. I like the art style. A lot of the song, you might have heard a number of the songs on like a YouTube animatics. That song Ready as I'll Ever Be, you probably heard through like YouTube animatics. That's from Tangled, and it's a really good one. And also, I like Cassandra. I think Cassandra's a fun character. Yeah, United Dream for Life. And I think that's it. That's all I got to say. I think I've rambled and raved about this movie about as long as I need to right now. I honestly could go on. This movie has, for 15 years, had a loving grip on my heart, and yeah, I love it. I'll always love it. This is one of my favorites. I love it to bits. And that's it. I also I also this was like the Blu-ray is like one of the I think one of the oldest Blu-rays I have, and this is one of the first like couple of Blu-rays I got when I started this whole nonsense. I really need to upgrade this. This was from like 2011, I think. This is I really need to get the 4K. Like oh man, the lantern sequence in 4K, that's probably gonna rock. But yeah, that'll be it for me. I'm Zach. I like movies. I like Tangled too. I love it to bits. See what comes out of this. Yeah, what's your favorite Disney movie? Do you also love Tangled as much as I do? Bet you don't. But yeah, that'll be it. I'm Zach. I like movies, and I will see you all later. Take care of yourself.